Good, good.
How'd the meeting go?
Well, we had a very good meeting with the president, the vice president, talking about the importance of having dependable supply chains. If there's one thing that the COVID-19 virus has taught us is the vulnerabilities that we have, whether it's personal protective equipment, whether it's the active ingredients in medication, or whether it's semiconductors. In particular, we've Congressman McCall, Senator Mark Warner, and Congresswoman Matsui and I have a bill called the CHIPS for America Act that we made a down payment on in the defense authorization bill, but we need some additional funding in order to incentivize the reshoring of high-end semiconductor manufacturing here in the United States. Right now, China is building 17 semiconductor fabrication manufacturing facilities. We have one that is in the early stages of being built in Arizona. So the president was very receptive, as was the vice president. He said, we're all in. We all understand this is important not only to our economy, but also to our national security, because these cutting-edge, high-end semiconductors, they operate on everything from the F-35 fifth-generation stealth fighter plane to our cell phones. So it was very, very positive. I might turn it over to Congressman McCall.
Thank you. Well, thank you, Senator. I want to commend the president for making this a priority. The ranking member on the Foreign Affairs Committee, I chaired the China Task Force. We came out with a report with 400 recommendations, most of them bipartisan, really focused on the critical supply chain. When I talked to Secretary Blinken, the National Security Advisor, Jake Sullivan, the president, vice president, they get this, that we got to focus on our decoupling our supply chain from the Chinese Communist Party, particularly on medical, on rare earth minerals, but semiconductors as well. As the senator said, everything from the cell phone to the F-35 is the brain power behind this. Our plan, we passed on the National Defense Authorization, is to start bringing this manufacturing of advanced semiconductor chips back to the United States, where we can provide more manufacturing and jobs, and at the same time protect our national security from what is becoming our greatest security challenge, and that is the Chinese Communist Party. What I want to close with, and what was so refreshing for me, was to be in the room with the president, with both Democrats and Republicans in agreement on an issue. So you know it's a good issue when you got that kind of bipartisan support in a town that is so rancor with partisanship. To come together as Americans on this issue, I think it's very refreshing. I think the president, as Senator Cornyn said, is all in on this issue, and we are all in the House and the Senate, both Republican and Democrat. Thank you.
Can I ask you guys generally, how would you rate this White House so far on bipartisanship? This issue is one thing.
Well,
you know there's a big bill coming on Friday in the House. You know you've got some nominees that don't necessarily have support.
Well, you know, the political process is has its ups and downs, and I'm hoping that this is an opportunity for us to do something truly important in a bipartisan way. So far, the 1.9 trillion COVID-19 relief bill is being passed strictly along party lines. I think that's unfortunate. We've passed 4, maybe 5 bills so far last year with almost unanimous bipartisan support. But the White House seems determined to do this with only Democratic votes. I think it's a mistake, but if they want to try it, that's really up to them. But in a Senate that's 50-50, as you can see, just 1 or 2 Democrats who have concerns about things like the $15 minimum wage, it's going to be a tough fight. But we're hopeful this sets the stage for a true bipartisan cooperation.
Did you convey your recommendations on your attendance?
On what? I did not. I think they already received that.
Did the COVID relief package come up in the meeting? And it sounds as if in terms of supply chains, the focus was semiconductors.
I'm sorry, there's a lot of noise back here.
Did the COVID relief package come up in your meeting?
No, I did not. This was about the executive order that I believe you'll be signing here shortly, talking about the vulnerability of our supply chains, as Congressman McCall mentioned, not just related to semiconductors, but that was certainly the one that is closest to being as Congressman McCall said, shovel ready. We already passed in the Defense Authorization Bill some of the key components of that, and now we need to get some financial resources in order to provide those incentives, because right now China has got us in a very, very vulnerable position, and we need to act on that as quickly as we can.